My most memorable final is the 1989 Grand Final between Hawthorn and Geelong. I was 11 years of age, and that's when I fell in love with the game of AFL football. Mark Yates charged off the line and ran through Dermot Brereton.
Yates came off the wing and went straight for Dermot Brereton. Didn't have eyes for the ball, just went straight at Brereton and put him down. Now Brereton's going down to the forward pocket.
You can see Derm on his back, but then get straight back up and kick 3 inspirational goals in that game. Blew my mind.
A chance to kick Hawthorn's second goal from 25 metres out. He's put it through.
As did Gary Ablett Sr. charging through Robert DiPierdomenico and seeing Dipper in a heap of pain, fighting out the game.
Courage shown by DiPierdomenico.
Hawthorn can't take it. Cohen, snapshot, hooks it across his block, another goal to Hawthorn.
It looked like all Hawthorn, despite Gary Ablett kicking 9 goals and one of the most amazing goals he kicked out of the ruck.
Ablett over the top. Snapshot by Gary Ablett. This is close. Oh, it is mercurial stuff.
Just grabbed it, put it on his boot and kicked it. It was amazing. And then Geelong just came and they kicked close to 10 goals in the last quarter to Hawthorn's 3.
Long down towards the pocket. Ablett is there, almost a one-hander. Finds it on the ground. From 25 metres out, he's kicked it. His 8th goal. Brownless at the back. Ablett. Here goes Ablett for goal number 9. And he's threaded it.
But the Hawks hung on to win by a kick. And I'll never forget, Dipper had to go straight to hospital after the game. Dermy was in a heap of pain as well. And the Hawks went back to back and won the premiership.
And they save at the moment.
Well, welcome back. What great memories they were. Now, we're going to catch up with one of the greatest players of all time, and that's me.
Welcome, Dip.
Thanks very much, Tony. Thanks, guys. God, things have changed. Lordo, Damo, Kano, hey? But no, always great to be part of the football in finals time, and yeah, it's great to be here.
Now, can I ask you a question? I've asked this question through the year, right? And I'm dying to ask you this question. Did you ever play under Alan Jones?
Did I ever play? Of course I did, yeah.
I've asked that question of a number of people and I've been mocked for it.
No, he was just a father figure to us all. We had our ins and outs with Jeansy. Well, I did anyway, because when he came to the club in the early 80s, I mean, I just played in 1978 in my first grand final, and there's only 2 coaches who haven't played for Hawthorn, and that's Alistair Clarkston and Alan Jeans. All the other coaches at Hawthorn have been Hawthorn people. And when he came to the club, I thought, well, you know, is he going to like me or not like me? And I had to remind him that I just played in the grand final and got best on. And we had that little, you know, tat-to-tat, and he was just a father figure to me. And we had words, but now listen, laddie, you know, when he used to say that, you know, I'll give you some hooly-dooly, and yeah, miss him dearly for sure.
Hey, Dip, I want to talk you through the 89 grand final. As I said, it's the greatest game that I've ever witnessed, and as I said, I was a young fella there, but you played in 5 flags, so you got some. But was this one the one that you get asked about the most?
I do, obviously, because of the game itself. It's 55 out, mate, not bad, is it? You know, it's one of those games that, for Hawthorn, it was our 7th day grand final in a row. And it was really important for us to win back-to-back, because all the great sides in the past have. You know, and then Dermot, you know, we got hit in the first minutes and back into a pack, and Ablett kicking 9 goals straight, and we had Johnny Platten come off the ground and concussed, and you know, Dean Anderson, he kicked another goal, and you know what happened to me. It was one of those games of everything. And Tucky, in the last bit there, he grabbed me and squeezed the last bit of breath I had, because I threw myself on the ball, and he said, we've won, and he's got a split web in himself, you know. And it was one of those games that people say another 5 minutes either way. Well, you know, we could have won by 11 points, or but anyway, all good.
And Dip, you're one of the great storytellers, and you put a lot of mayonnaise on various stories. You don't need to add to your story within this game, do you? I mean, this hit, when it came, I mean, you could feel it, and obviously you played the game out with that ailment. And just take us through it. I know you've relived this many times, but to be taken straight to hospital, and even your skin was bubbling, you said?
Well, at this time here, when I'm coming off the ground, well, when I first got hit, I knew that was coming, and there's 3 words you don't want to hear on grand final day in the middle of the ground, and they are, it's yours, Dipper. It's yours, but Dipper, you got to go, boys, don't you? You got to go, and that's why we train, because the voices, you get used to the voices, and it's yours, Dipper. And I went back, and I know what's coming because Gary was telling me. And then when I got hit, you know, win, lose or draw, you want to be with your teammates, but adrenaline just takes you to another spot. Even though it was my 7th-day grand final in a row, you still want to get involved early. And I just kicked the goal and came back, and you're involved in the game. That's when you're sort of really happy about being involved in the game early. So when I went back and kicked the ball, then the great Buddha runs past me and just gives me another one, and that's when it got me. And then my voice was going like this, and I run around the MCG going, "Hey, you're kicking to me," you know. And the boys are going, "Are you all right?" "Yeah, I'm all right. What's wrong with you?" You know.
Now, is it true that if you had got
now
the
you're
hospital,
doing it.
If you had got the hospital any later, that there might have been complications? You were very lucky.
I was very lucky
once you got there. Tell
Nathan, I was very, very lucky. I didn't know exactly what was happening, except for the fact that I was gone. And then when I went into the ambulance, they gave me 2 shots of adrenaline. That's the last thing I need is adrenaline. It's sort of like, I sound like the siren going to St Vincent's Private, you know, like, yeah, whatever. And then when I got there, I was laid on a tray, obviously, and looked up the fluorescent lights, and it was really quiet, and all of a sudden someone grabbed my hand and just telling me about life, and it happened to be the priest of the hospital. And then a nurse runs in, and she cuts the jump up in the middle and just plants like a knitting needle, looked like a knitting needle into my chest, and she saved my life, because at that time the punctured lung was just starting to understand what it was all about. But as you know, I was in hospital for 9 days, and the first 6 days I couldn't really do anything. But on the 7th day when I rose, 2 people have done it. One took 4, and I took 7. Like, you know. Yeah, look, really, it was one of those situations. Would I do it again? Of course I would. Yeah. Of course I would. And that was Hawthorn's first ever back-to-back. 61, of course, and then 71 and 75 the loss, 76, 78, 83. You know, you get these chances all the time, 86 and 88, and this was the first time that we had a chance to make history for our club.
Your career generally, Dipper, as we look at some of the highlights, I mean, you never took a backward step, and almost from the time you debuted there, minus the Mo, your intent, this was goal of the year, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, it should have been. That was a Waverley with Bruce Stool chasing me. That was the second semi at Waverley. There's another one, just a little left footer there, Lloydie. I went to centre the ball, actually, but it went through. Look, I had a great opportunity to play my role at Hawthorn, and whatever that was. But the one thing I could do was put my head over the ball, and that was John Kennedy, my first coach, you know. He said, don't do anything fancy, just get the ball and kick along, and that's how it all started. And, of course, become one of the greats.
You also, but you also played with some of the greats, didn't you? I mean, if you go through the roll call of your teammates, it's boys.
It all started with Lee Matthews, Peter Knights, Don Scott, Peter Hudson, you know, like in the early days, and then the great sides of Dermot and Jason and Gary Ayres and Chris Langford and, you know, young Deary, and it was a great time. In the time of the finals, I think we played 15 years of consecutive finals, right? Which include a few grand finals in that. I think we only used about 50-odd players in 15 years. Yeah. Like normally you use 100, 200 or 300, but Tucky went on to play 5,000 games, and everybody played 200 plus those games, and we always included 1 or 2 or 3 new teammates in. So that's not a lot of players you use over 15 years.
How many were premiership players across the 5 that you played in, you think?
Oh,
like
a lot of them.
Were there many changes, though, to that?
No, I think what would happen was that out of the 18 or 20 that played, or 22 or so, I would think that most of those players were premiership players, you know, or became premiership players. You know, Andy Gowers took my spot in 1991. He became a premiership player in 1991.
Hey, Dipper, also your media career. We have to highlight that.
Of course.
You've stayed involved right throughout. Here you are, Dip.
Re-ankled his strap. Re-ankled his strap. We wish the Olympic team a lot of luck, and also I feel pretty safe out here. But these are available now, Sandy. They are the legend goals. Very, very fit in that area, in the running area.
What am I doing?
A boundary rider, groundsman. What else do you want? Bit, out of the way. And what do you think of tonight's game? You've already shown your colours tonight. Yeah. Welcome back to Australia, Jerry. Now, you've got a few shows here in Brisbane.
Did you enjoy that part of your life?
Loved it, absolutely loved it. We were doing 3 games a weekend, like you boys, you know. And I was doing Friday night to the MCG, saw North Melbourne most nights, and then we did Sydney on a Saturday, or Brisbane on a Saturday, or or vice versa, Brisbane on Saturday night and Sunday. So 87 games a year. Loved it. You know, 1A is used to fly up there, watching Bruce just do his homework, not on the football, homework for the Olympics in 4 years' time. I'm thinking, what are you doing? He goes, I said, mate, it's 4 years away. And then you know why he's one of the greats, you know, when Sandy Roberts and all the boys, I just loved
Dennis
it.
Cometti.
Yeah. So, sorry?
Dennis Cometti.
Oh, Dennis Cometti, of course. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, thank you. Little spray there. Let's cross down to the Dipper now. Yeah.
Mate, I tell you what, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you,
thank you.
And reflecting. And when we were told that you were coming in, we were just all chuffed because we were genuinely excited. We were talking earlier about, you know, there's only a few people in this game that have an aura about them. We all agreed Lee Matthews is one, and you're certainly
thank you very much. Well, to be in Lee Matthews' shadow is fantastic. But it was just great catching up with these two because we spent a lot of time in Ireland together. And of course, he was one of the best Australian players versus the Irish. And when we used to go around Ireland, they would go, oh, Nathan, you know. He was one of the best. And Lloyd, you were also really good.
Thanks, Dick.
Yeah.
We don't like praising Nathan.
No, they should be praised. But Damo, Lordo, Natho, Tonio.
Tonio. I'll see you at the Brownlow.
Yeah, well, are you coming?
Yeah, of course.
You got the socks in you. I'm not coming. After 34 years, I've not been invited, you know.
It was Dipper, I don't want to have to come over there.
Now, we'll see you at the Brownlow, which is on Sunday night now.
Yes.
Which takes me another less day to get the spray tan and all that sort of stuff, you know. Now, hey, thanks, guys. You do a great job for footy, and what a great time of the year.
It is.
And exciting football to happen. So hang on to your hats, guys.
Throw to the break.
Well, why not? Well, you've had one of the best Sundays of all time. Just go back and have a cup of tea.